Hey Jeff, how are you? Good to see you. It's Thursday. Who else have we got here today? It's 3:30 in London. It's still 11:30 on the East Coast. Hi Anime, looking forward to having you on Monday as a guest. Hi Katie, how are you? Hi Bert, hey. Hi Tsumabuki, writing in Japanese. Am I live from Gary, Indiana? Am I wearing a hat that looks like I'm from Gary, Indiana? I don't know. Well, anyway, we're going to have a good chat today. We've had a good week so far. It's Thursday. It's the last show of the week, last call Can You Beat of the week. We had dog expert Kim on Monday. I think she came like 37th or something. On Tuesday, we had Jeremy, of course, fan favorite and regular More player. He did pretty well. He came 14th. Yesterday, AI Elon Musk, who's, yes, oh, that's the Chinese language. Yes, I know you're Taiwanese because it says it in your name, Taiwan John. Yeah, AI Elon Musk, he's got no feelings and he's still very slow. But today we've got a bona fide friend of mine who's got a very interesting job. If you like watching trivia shows like this, which, hi OKC Foodie, which I know you do, then you may have watched, if you live in the UK, The Chase, which is like basically the biggest quiz show on TV here. And in the States, you also have The Chase, which is on the Game Show Network. But without further ado, let's bring him on if I can find him. We've got a good crowd today. There he is. Okay, Rob, you should see it ringing, and you can answer that. Does he sound like Catherine Keener? Oh yeah, no, he's a real person. Oh, you want to go against the beast? Yeah. Okay. Why isn't it working? Why isn't it working? Here we go.
Hello there.
Hey, how's it going?
Good, thanks. Yeah, it's all good.
Good. We've got Bert Otts. I was just explaining about your connection to the Chase. Well, I wasn't, but you explain your connection to the Chase, actually, so everyone can hear. And what do you do there?
Well, I'm the producer of the Chase on the question side of things. So I've been there about 8 years now. So a good sort of 7, 8 series or something like that. So anything to do with questions is my bag, basically.
And when you started, I mean, I remember when you started, but it was kind of big. It was a big deal then, but it then just suddenly like took off, didn't it? Like it became a rocket ship, and now it's like the biggest quiz show, I would say, on British television.
Certainly, it's the longest running and the most popular. Yeah, it's like 3 to 5 million viewers every day, sort of thing. So I think regularly with number 3 in the ratings, I think. So beating EastEnders and all that sort of stuff. So all good.
Good. Yeah. Bert Otts in chat says he wants to go against the Beast and that the Beast would wipe us out.
There's every chance he would.
Are these chasers all they're cracked up to be? Are they like remember when we worked on Eggheads together, actually, and they were really kind of nerdy, the Eggheads. The chasers have got a bit more personality, haven't they? But are they still like doing a lot of revision and a lot of reading? I remember when we worked on Eggheads, like Kevin Ashman just spent his life revising. What do the chasers do? Do they do that?
Yeah, but they're like a lot of your viewers, I'm sure. They just they love questions and quizzes, and if they're not on the Chase, they're usually doing the Quiz League of London or something like that. They just all love doing it. So constant question.
And the Chase now is worldwide. I think the show in the US is still on, isn't it?
I think it is, yeah. I think they've got their own chasers now. Originally it was just Mark, but now I think they have their own chasers. And it's very big in Australia as well. It's very popular. But there's, I think a lot of countries have taken the format and done their own thing with it.
And when we'll start the show in a second, the questions here, but like I don't know, but I've read like when they do the X Factor or a show like that around the world, then someone at X Factor HQ has to kind of make sure that they have to approve each version. Like if you have Who Wants to Be a Millionaire, it has to be approved in each country. Do they have someone like that where you work?
Yeah, well, one of the execs will go out. If it's done for the first time, an exec will go out to make sure the format's sort of correct. I mean, we're not really heavy on it, but it's a format that really works. And so all of them end up doing exactly the same way as we do, really.
Yeah, that's got to be a pretty cushy number, though, going around the world just to go, oh, yes, can you make it more blue? Or that's not how we do it.
No, they say it's really hard, but I'm not convinced.
We like shapes. These are all our players here. It says, our Connections Quiz League team played Mara from the Chase Australia's team last season. And Bertot says, in the US, they have Jeopardy champions. Yes, bear that in mind for later. Yes, everyone's admiring your artwork. Of course, when you go to Rob's flat, you got very cool artwork. Look at that. Isn't that cool? You got a whole bunch of interesting people up there. That's an original. You had that commission, didn't you?
Yeah, that should be your first question. Who are these people?
Well, let's see if one of those people may or may not figure in our show today. So I'm going to start the questions. And when each question will pop up, right? And you have to physically press, it's 3 answers. You have to physically press the correct answer. The quicker you press it, the more points you get. The maximum is 10,000 points per question. And you won't get penalized if you get a wrong answer. There's no negative points. You just get 0. I will say that some of our players are pretty speedy on the odd buttons. So we'll have a look and see how we go. It's worth saying, as I was just explaining to them on Monday, we had dog expert Kim came like 36th. We had Jeremy, who's with us today, came 14th on Tuesday, and yesterday we had AI Elon Musk, who came 16th. And it's also worth saying, like, I've been doing this show now. I mean, you've never seen it, and here we are on it.
Yeah,
I've been doing it since, like, I don't know, the middle of last year, not as regularly as now. I mean, I might have done 50 shows. Only 3 people like you, 3 contestants, have come in the top 10 ever.
Yeah, well, don't expect too much from me either. I've forgotten most of what I used to know.
Week, who's a medievalist? She actually came first, and then we got Cyber Goddess, who's with us today. Cyber Goddess Nick came 6th, and also Otto English, who's my friend, who's a writer. He came 6th. Only 3 people, which is kind of, I mean, I try not to make it too hard. Anyway, we share lots of interests. We know each other very well. One of our interests is, of course, the band Depeche Mode. I'm a big fan. You're a super fan and friend of the band, but we'll talk about that in a sec. We're going to start off, and let's see if I can press my buttons right, and ask you question number 1. Which of these Depeche Mode albums was released in the 80s? Exciter, Speak and Spell, or Sounds of the Universe? And I'm sure you remember this moment when that album was released.
I remember only too well, so this is a nice, easy start for me, I've got to say.
Yeah, it's their debut album. And I was thinking, there you go. Oh, most people got that right. So pretty good standard, most people knowing that. I mean, I was trying to think, I've never asked this. How many times do you think you've seen them?
Countless times. I mean, because I've known them since childhood sort of thing. I went to see the first gig, pre-gigs, in fact. I was at the gig where Dave sort of first came along and was recognised by Vince and joined the band from there. So, from the very beginning, in fact. And in fact, I'm off to see them the end of their tour in Cologne next week. So,
are you going?
Yeah.
You're going next week. And is that, that is the end. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. We Like Shapes is right. Exciter was around the turn of the century. Yeah. It was like 2001 or 2. And Sounds of the Universe was after that. Yeah. Dot says, did you know they would be big? I mean, they had this moment, I think it was like, is it 101, the documentary? It's around that period, the end of the 80s, that they suddenly go from this like successful, I remember Fletch would even describe them as this successful synth band into like the biggest band in the world. Not that they are anymore, but they are still an incredibly huge, I mean, we've seen it, the amount of money on these tours and the amount of people that are going to see them, but for a period, and it kind of went dark, and it was still incredible songs that were coming out. Tell us about that period. Dot says, did you know they would be big?
No, you don't. I mean, at the time, you're just like, growing up together and everything, and it's all great fun because you're going on the road and stuff like that. You don't really think it's going to be massive. And then suddenly they're playing things like the Hammersmith Odeon, and which is, for the foreign listeners, it's like, I don't know, 5,000, 8,000 seater sort of thing. And that was unthinkable. And then, as you say, with 101 and everything, that was 100,000 people. And that's when, I mean, that's when they became a stadium band, really. And now they just haven't looked back from there, really. And it's, I mean, in Britain, you wouldn't believe it, really. I mean, the people in Britain would believe it. They're not that massive, you know. They sell out big stadiums and stuff, but they don't get the appreciation they deserve, really.
Yeah, but if anyone looks up the stats from their current tour, Memento Mori, it's like the amount of people that, I mean, we went to see them last year at Twickenham. There was like 80,000 people. It's just bonkers. And yes, Chantilly says their new concerts are still great. And Cyber Goddess says Songs of Faith and Devotion was amazing. And Cyber Goddess says they are bigger in the US and Europe. Yeah, that's true.
Very true.
Right, good. Moving on, a little bird, well, it was you actually, told me that you went to the Teenage Cancer Trust concert on Tuesday, which I think was comedy night. What was it like? Who was the best there?
It was great. I mean, I do it every year if I can, because it's a charity that's sort of close to my heart, really. Yeah, a great comedy night. It was compared by a guy called Kevin Bridges, who's a Scottish comedian who's hilarious, basically, as you'd expect. And there's people like, who was there? Jesus. Joe Lycett. Sean Walsh was very funny about McDonald's, laid into them heavily. There was John Bishop as well was the sort of final act. So it's a good mixture of stuff, and none of them shy away for being, you know, dropping the C-bomb every 2 minutes and stuff, despite the fact it's got loads of teenagers there. They all love that, obviously.
Cyber Goddess says Joe Lycett is hilarious, but I think, and I know that Jeff Keys is watching today, and he's my friend, and we've hosted a couple of shows on here, and we always swap comedy things. There's a comedy question coming up in a minute, but I recommend, if the Americans can understand him, Kevin Bridges is like, I just think that guy is hilarious.
Yeah, he's got a pretty broad Scottish accent, though, so you do have to concentrate a bit, you know, but once you get your ear in, he is just very, very funny.
We Like Shapes wanted to go tomorrow, actually, to see Young Fathers, so they're playing tomorrow, I know that. But actually, this question is about the music side of things, not about the comedy. So, in fact, 2024, question 2 is whose last year as the music curator for the Teenage Cancer Trust? Which Roger is it? Daltrey, Waters, or Taylor? I reckon you must have. If you've been going all these years and you don't know this, I'd be astonished.
I have met him, that's true.
Lisa, my wife, has met him as well, of course, because he lives down here. He used to go to the cinema when she worked there. So it was, of course, Roger Daltrey. Yeah, good. Good. So you went to the comedy on Tuesday. So now we're going to talk about, yes, John Bishop was in Doctor Who. These comedians are trying to act, Cyber Goddess. Now we're going to talk about some TV. I'm just going to go straight into this one, then we'll look at the scores. This is about a new show on Apple TV that, again, Jeff Keys recommended, and I'm going to talk to you in a second. But anyway, who plays the title role in Apple's new Dick Turpin comedy? Noel Fielding, Steve Coogan, or Matt Lucas? Have you seen it?
I haven't seen it. No, I don't have Apple TV, incredibly. So this is a complete and utter guess.
What did you guess?
I guess Noel Fielding.
Yeah, I mean, if you're going to guess of those three, I mean, I suppose it could have been Coogan. I have to say, Rob, it's hilarious.
Is it?
It is, genuinely. I've only watched episode 1, but I keep thinking about it and laughing.
Okay.
Did I message you about it? I highly, highly recommend it.
I'll try and find some way of watching it.
Yeah. Yes, Dot says instant classic, and Cyber Goddess says she loves Noel Fielding. Yes, good. Everyone got that. Okay, so let's have a little look at the scores in a sec. I think you got 3 for 3, so you should be up there. I'm going to bring up the scoreboard.
Can only go downhill from here.
1 sec. Here we go. Dot. Oh, you're second. Dot at the top, 29,000. Rob, 27. Cyber Goddess, 27. 3 of you on the 20-somethings, and then a little bit of a gap. So you're looking pretty good at the moment. Let's have a go.
Don't worry, everyone. You can all catch up.
Now, in my house the other day, we were playing Harry Potter Cluedo before Ori watched Harry Potter film for like the 50th time. And then when he went to bed, of course, we had to read him Harry Potter 5. And it's just still everywhere, Harry Potter. The question 4 is about Harry Potter. And it's who recently told Harry Potter fans to grow up? Miriam Margolyes, Daniel Radcliffe, or Emma Watson? I mean, when you think about it, there's only going to be one of them that's likely to do that. So who was it?
Yeah.
Did you get that right?
Yeah, Professor Sprout, she was, interestingly enough.
Yeah, Professor Sprout. Okay. Going back to the chase, couple of questions about this I've got. What happens if a contestant challenges the question and says, oh, no, that's wrong, or it was confusingly written? What if it happens when the question is challenged there and then in the studio? I mean, you obviously don't want that to happen, and I've been there when that happens to me. So tell us what happens.
Well, I mean, to be honest with you, it happens very, very rarely. We're very careful about how the questions are written, and Brad obviously is very good at reading them and everything. But sometimes, you know, there's a slight miss here or something like that. We have an adjudicator on set with us who's completely independent, and she'll go in and find out what their issue is with the question or whatever, and we listen to the other end and explain why they're wrong.
Oh, right. So you've got the adjudicator there live, not like down the phone or anything?
No. She's there live.
Who's your adjudicator? Is it someone from the company or is it an external person?
No, it's an external thing from a company called Beyond Dispute.
Do I know who it is?
Usually a woman called Olivia van der Werf. She does most of the British sitcoms and stuff like that. Sitcoms, game shows.
Wow. That's
Beyond Dispute, her company. Yeah.
Pretty cushy, I would think.
No, you know.
But you got to be right.
Until it all goes terribly wrong, you know, then it's...
Katie Rose says, what do you do when Brad can't stop laughing? Does that happen? Well, I guess he does.
I would say it happens pretty much every show. You don't always see them. They don't always make the edit. But, yeah, we just laugh along with them. It's just, you know, it's that sort of show, really. It's fun, really. And, yeah, as question writers, we try to really catch him out and to drop the odd word that we know he'll laugh at, you know.
Yes, and I know this isn't your department, but you might be able to shed light. Jeremy, one of our players here, asked the other day, how do you choose the contestants? Like, is there a contestant team that chooses it? And also, importantly, do you pay for the contestants' travel? And if they came from like Scotland down to Elstree, would you pay for their train and put them up overnight? How does that work? Yeah,
so we have a whole team of contestant researchers. You just write in and... they'll ring you back, basically, if they think you're going to be appropriate. Yes, we pay their expenses for travel and all that sort of stuff. They'll get a meal at the studio. And in most cases, they'll get to stay overnight in the hotel, yeah.
And you're recording at Elstree, so I think you told me that you see sometimes some other big shows or even big films being recorded. You tell me you saw, like, Wicked at some point. What else have you seen being like, oh, there's so-and-so. What else have you seen?
Well, the big one was The Crown was shot at Elstree as well, so we saw them around all the time. But any of the big shows are in there. Wicked was the most recent one. But, you know, we have Pointless are in the studio next to us, or used to be in the studio next to us. So, yeah, I mean, you just see people around all the time. Obviously, it's also where they filmed The Shining, which I know you're a big fan of as well.
Love The Shining, yes.
Yeah, and also, obviously, Star Wars as well. In fact, the studio we usually use is... it was the internal thing for the Millennium Falcon was filmed there.
That's
as
insane.
Well as, and talk about The Shining, it's where they did the old, here's Johnny. That was filmed in there as well.
That's incredible. So is it like, do they have like a big canteen where everyone goes? Might you see Dominic West in his Prince Charles gear getting a sausage and mash or something? No,
we all have our individual catering departments sort of thing. So it's not like a big old BBC thing or, you know, in the old days cafe thing.
Okay. All right. Moving on now to question 5. This is about the chase and about the US version of the chase. Let's go. US chaser Ken Jennings is best known for his streak on which show? I don't mean he was running around naked. I mean he was like winning a lot of the shows.
That's a whole different show, that one, isn't it?
Or is it Price is Right? Did you know that one?
I'm semi-guessing it's Jeopardy because you sort of mentioned earlier.
Alluded to it. I alluded to it earlier. Yes, it was indeed Jeopardy. The next question, question 6, and we'll do scores after this, is 10 in total, Rob.
Okay.
Last week we had the Oscars, and there's going to, I think might be a BAFTA question coming up, but there's definitely a question now about the Oscars. And everyone got excited because it was up 0.4 of a million to 19.4 million from a low audience in the last couple of years. But this is dwarfed by the all-time high viewing audience in the US for the Oscars. So that's what question 6 is. They get a little bit tougher now as we head for home. So what is the highest US audience ever for the Oscars? 102, 57, or 38? What'd you go for?
I just went down the middle, 57.
Going down the middle is probably a good tactic, and it looks like it's worked out.
Oh, my God.
It was correct, yes. And it was in 1998. Do you know what won Best Film in 1998?
No.
Titanic.
Oh, was it really? Okay.
So I expect that was like a big
sank
film.
without a trace, didn't it, that one?
Sunk without a trace. I guess the Leo and Kate and effect kind of work there. Let's have a look. I think you might be 6 for 6. Let's see where you are. Guys, if he's at number 1, we could have a second. He's there. He's there. Look at this. Funky Fraser is on your tail.
I've got to go now, Paul.
Like
Bye.
On your tail. Dot has gone to 4th. This could be an extraordinary, the second person ever to get number 1 ever. Can he continue? He's got 4 left. Okay. Now, you're also a member of the BAFTAs, Rob. So tell us the pluses and minuses of being a member of the BAFTAs. What does that allow you to do and to get?
Well, every year I get to vote on the BAFTAs, basically. So, you know, best film and all that, best actors and all that sort of stuff. And each year they give us basically all the films through the year. So we have to make sure we've seen everything. And so at the end of the year, I have to watch, 120 movies or something in a month, if I haven't seen them earlier in the year, sort of thing. So you get that, and I could get to go to the cinema throughout the year for free. And we've got our own sort of BAFTA's got its headquarters in Piccadilly Circus, and there's a big bar and a restaurant and stuff there. And
do you just vote on film, or do you vote on TV as well?
TV as well. In fact, I just about to vote for the TV awards as well.
Okay. All right. Yeah, cool. Okay. Well, this one's about the BAFTA Film Awards and about this year's ones. Who hosted this year's BAFTA Film Awards? Tennant, Fry, or Norton? How do you feel about that one?
Well, I should be good on that one, shouldn't I?
I would think you should. I'll tell you an interesting fact. What's the right answer?
That's David Tennant.
Yeah. And he is now nominated for a BAFTA for Good Omens for the first time ever.
Okay.
In this year's BAFTA, he was nominated for Welsh BAFTAs and Scottish BAFTAs, but this is the first time he's ever been nominated for a proper BAFTA. Now, I know you like medieval armor, he said. So let's ask a question about medieval armor.
Safe to say I know nothing about medieval armor, but let's go for it.
Granton Guy says a good question about BAFTA and voting. Do you actually watch the whole movie if it's bad?
Well, yes, I do, but a lot of them don't. I think it's safe to say. But yes, you have to take the rough with the smooth. I had to watch Barbie, which isn't my sort of thing,
man,
as you might imagine.
I struggled with it. I tried to watch that on the plane. It was a tough watch, yes.
Okay. But you have to be objective about these things as well. So, you know, even though it's not my thing, I can appreciate certain things in it.
Okay, 3 to go. In medieval armor, question 8. What is the name of the piece which protects the neck? Is it the otter, is it the beaver, or is it the badger? What are you going to put around your neck? He's on 7 for 7. Is he going to be on 8 for 8? What did you think it was?
Well, I always like to put a beaver around my neck.
Is that what you guessed?
That's what I guessed.
And you guessed good.
Ooh.
That's in the old days. Look, most people got that wrong. That's what we once upon a time we might have called a savage question. But Rob's doing very well here. So let's have a look at number 9.
I think we should point out you haven't tailored these for me, have you, these questions?
No. Number 9 is back to the 80s, okay? And this is about a song that was number 1 in the UK in the 80s. May not even have charted in the US. Like, this could be savage. Let's have a look at this. Question number 9. Try wearing a cap are the last words of which UK 80s number 1? Too much, too young, it's a sin, or stand and deliver. I've got good facts about this, by the way.
I really have no idea on this one.
What did you guess?
I just guessed stand and deliver, the old Adam and the Ants thing.
Right. Rubber Machen in chat says it's too much, too young. It was indeed too much, too young, right? And it was a controversial ending because it's all about teenage pregnancy or young pregnancy. Remember?
Oh, right. So try one of that cap, yeah.
Time with me. Try wearing a cap was the last line. And of course, BBC Radio didn't want to play it because it was like talking about contraception. Second fact, but I was going to ask this question originally. I couldn't find the absolute proof for it is that apparently that is the shortest UK #1 of the 1980s in terms of song length. I told you it would be savage. Most people went for Stand and Deliver like you. So
I just thought with the hats and Adam and the Ants and stuff with their sort of fancy stuff, I don't know.
It's almost as if these questions are designed to trick you.
Incredibly.
Okay, last question.
Sorry, it's okay.
Last question. And everyone who's watching, there might be a visual clue as you look at the screen. This is about a film director and about a former London film studios. A bust of which director stands outside London's Gainsborough studios? Is it Kubrick, who you mentioned, Lean, or Alfred Hitchcock?
Up here somewhere. There's a clue.
Why is he there? Well, I've just explained. There you go. Everyone got that right. Do you want to tell us about that? You live near that, don't you?
I do. Gainsborough's just like, I don't know, about half a mile up the road sort of thing. It's now been converted into flats, which is why there's a big head there. Yeah, I just love a bit of Alfred Hitchcock. Mind you, I love Kubrick as well. And
it is it's a big head. Next time I'm up to see you and we have time, I'd like to go and see it, actually.
Sure.
And it's on the site of the old Gainsborough Studios. Okay, drum roll, please, because there's another show coming on at 4. Joe's about to come on, everybody. Don't forget, yes, it is Rob Andrews from The Chase, Joe. Don't forget, I'll be back on Monday and Tuesday and Wednesday of next week. But now, drum roll, please. Here we go. Has he maintained? Is he the second person to reach #1? Yes, he is. Yay! Beating We Like James. You're beating some top players here. Cyber Goddess, Omi, Rubber Machen, Chantilly, Andy, Funky Fraser, and Buddha rounding out the top 10. Very good. Have you enjoyed yourself? Have you had a lovely day?
Well, now that I've won, I'm very happy, but I'll just take me bus fare home, thank you.
He did kill you all. Dot says big grats. Yeah, I mean, we thought it would never happen again. But now we can officially put it on the. I'll send you the picture of it so you can share it with your friends that you are the second person in history to be right at the top, #1.
Well, that's made my day, isn't it? Thanks to everyone for playing along. It's been fun.
Good. It has been fun. Thanks for answering everyone's questions, and I'll speak to you soon. Everyone else, I'll see you on Monday. Monday is later, everybody, because we got Anime Dan on, so it's going to be at 8 p.m. London. 4 p.m. Eastern and 1 p.m. West Coast. So I'll see you all Monday evening. Yes, thanks everyone. Okay.
See you later.
Take care.
Bye.
Bye.